Between the two of them.
The inside of Coates.
Parker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.
Thanks, Steve. Hi everybody, welcome along to our Tuesday evening session of Virtual Reality Racing Club BMW GT4 Series action. We're in America, so that means we welcome back Becky Aparicio. Becky, great to have you back, and we wish your mum a very happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Yeah, good to be back. Yeah, happy birthday, Mum. Sorry I'm not spending the evening with you, but yeah, plenty of time for the rest of the week to make for that.
You've been looking after her all day from what you tell me, and also you've cooked for her, or you're cooking for her, so that's grand. So I'm sure you will be off the hook. But really good to have you here, and we're getting into the end of the campaign. We've only just left. I'm not around next week, so it'll be Jack back with us next week. But as you can see, 21st of October, Road Atlanta, which we're going to have a look at in a minute. Silverstone, the one I'm missing, which is a bit of a pity because I do like a bit of Silverstone. And then we're back for Road America for our finale. Can you believe we are almost into November already? It's going to be freezing cold by then, but we'll be in the warm with heating on. I know those of you with rigs in garages will probably be cold because we had those conversations last winter. But anyway, that's where we are. After that, we go Legends Cars Racing, which we're looking forward to as well. But for the moment, we are BMW bound again this evening. Jack Smith, the championship leader, now opening up a little bit of a gap at the top. 247 playing 205. Thomas, the Flying Teapot Potter in P2. Scott, absent Bugner, is third from Andy Dorman, who is really on a little bit of a roll at the moment. Andy Dorman with 2 podiums last time out, so that was good. Andy Carroll fifth, had a little bit of an off week, I think, Andy, last time. You can see that from the red 27 under the Imola round, so not great for Andy, but hopefully he'll be back on form this week. Rich Hayden's drop round is still round 1. He's 6th from Lee Piercy, who again had another reasonably strong week last week. Lewis Stannard is 8th. I'm not sure we've got Lewis. I hope all is well with Lewis Stannard, but we will see whether he's maybe having this as a round off. Jamie Page 9th, and the top 10 completed by last week returning Oliver Gibson. It's good to see, and he grabbed his first win of the campaign. The other Ollie Smith, his drop score was last week because he wasn't there. I don't think he's been practicing either, which is a great pity. And that leaves the way for Kat Potter to maybe make her way into the top 10 of the points after a disappointing round last week. Again, you can see the red 14 indicating that it was her most disappointing day to date. Chris Blakey 13th from Paul Laramie and Alex Walker. I think Paul and Alex not with us this week, unfortunately, either working or home commitments. Caden Cook 16th from Connor Potter and John Jones. Callum Enstone is 19th in the standings from Jack Dickerson. Haven't seen Jack practicing over the course of the week either, which is a pity. Who have we got outside the top 20? Well, that's answered by Josh Martin. I hope we get to see Josh again because we haven't had a chance to talk to him yet. John Wilkie. Same with Daniel Heaps. Saw he might be selling his race car on social media. He's 23rd from Scott Ferguson and Kenny Press. So that's the way things line up in the championship table right now. But look at last week's summary, and unsurprisingly, it was Jack Smith, who took the gold honours, as it were. First top scorer, Tom Potter second, and Andy Dorman in third, with Andy also grabbing the driver of the round accolade. So a really good effort from Andy last week. And again, he'll be looking to move a little bit further up the table, maybe challenging Thomas Potter, although Thomas has been looking pretty sharp in testing, I dare say, buoyed by his experience at the Ginetta Scholarship over the weekend. We normally get a chat with him on the podium, so hopefully we'll be able to have a little bit of a chat with him about that later on as we complete our first race on Road Atlanta. This is what it looks like. Complicated circuit, lots of flowing parts though, which, well, if you like a flowing circuit, that's going to be good. If you like the technical stuff, then maybe not so good. But I think we're going to be in for some good overtakes and some good action here this evening. As ever, we've got Jack Smith, who has put together for us. So here we are then at the Road Atlanta, which is in the deep south in Georgia, and we're actually heading south now, or we are, once we get around turn 1 with Jack Smith, and it's fairly, as you can see, the undulation starts to kick into play as we head around turn 2, which is the first curve, immediately into turn 3 and then turn 4, but the wiggles don't straighten out because we get the S's to come through, and there you get a great shot as we head downhill and into the S's, looking up towards turn 5, where we will see the other circuit breaking away onto the right hand side. Now coming down in towards turn 6, which is a reasonably sharp right hander, short straight, and then another right hander turn 7. None of these have got the name. Now we're on effectively what is the back straight, and therefore heading northbound once again as we go under the Motel Bridge, heading down towards turn 9, which is the right hand kink. And here we go with that. Driver's thoughts turning in toward the chicane, I guess we can call it that, but basically turn 10, turn A, we go to the left, turn B, we go to the right and head under the bridge and down towards turn 11, which we clear, down towards turn 12, which is the final turn on the lap, and then across the line to complete a lap. Target time, as you can see, 1:23 by Jack Smith. That is the time that they're all going to be looking to beat, and we will see how that pans out race-wise. Becky, as always, I'm going to ask you, have you any experience of this one on the sim, or read anything that might sort of pique our interest?
I always try to set a few laps around each track when we go to them. So I've done a few. It's quite a sweeping, and yeah, we've got a few kind of dips and upwards, and it always tends to be in the places you don't really want them. So through the chicanes and stuff, it's not just nice and simple and nice and flat, is it? So yeah, that could cause a few issues here and there with just the unsteadiness of the back end of the car, managing to get your power out of corners. So yeah, looking forward to this one as always. The American tracks always seem to throw a few spanners in the works for some of our drivers, so it's always fascinating to watch.
Yeah, they do. I think we've got 16 on track, so still decent numbers actually as we get into, numbers generally tail off a little bit as you get towards the end of any season, and that's the case here. But yeah, American circuits, they've got a huge variety, haven't they, out there, which is really good to see. If my timing screen is to be believed, I think we've got Jamie Page on the front row of the grid with John Wilkie, and then Scott Ferguson and Andy Dorman next up from Rich Hayden and Kat Potter. Whether that is right or not, I don't know. We'll see as we head in towards our first race of the evening. Remember, the race format is 3 races for this, as it will indeed be for our Legends Cars Championship, our official Scottish Legends Cars Championship. I actually did a bit of voiceover for Scottish Legends at the weekend. They've got a couple of little mini documentary videos coming out, which I've added the race commentary to, which was terrific fun. So keep an eye out for those. The first one of which features a driver who's going to be co-commentating with us on the final round, and I'll talk to you about the relevance of that a little bit later on. But I'm delighted to say Becky's joining us for the alternate rounds as well on Legends, which is good. So Yeah, who's your money on this evening, Becky?
Oh, tough one there. I don't know. You put me on the spot there, Richard. Again, I don't think you can ever call Jack Smith out of anything, can you? He's quite dominant, even if he starts well behind. But Thomas Potter put in a great round last week as well, and made his way through the pack to get some podiums. And I think you mentioned before we came live about we had 3 different winners. So it's always interesting towards the end. We get everybody kind of getting used to their cars, dialing in a bit more, so it gets a lot closer, which is something to look forward to for the legends as well.
Yeah, very much looking forward to that. And here is our look at the grid. It's an unusual one. As you can see, they actually line up around the corner, which is something I think they used to do at Donington Park, although very slightly the other way. Phone's just gone ping. What's that about? Formula Ford Festival at the weekend. We could leave that till the weekend. Already we're starting to boil away with news coming through on the festival, which we're all getting pretty excited about. We're still trying to put together a classic Formula Ford Sim series together at some point. So we will talk more about that over the winter, maybe do something into the spring. But at the moment, we are just under a minute away from our first race of the evening. So you can see it's Kat Potter on pole position from Oliver Gibson and Jamie Page. Rich Hayden is next up from Lee Piercy. So the 2 teammates, Rich with the white and blue car with the red front and Lee Piercy with the yellow. Andy Carroll is next from Andy Dorman and Thomas Potter in 8th. Jack Smith in 9th. Chris Blakey wrapping up 10th on the grid. Then the guys with all the hard work to do that are outside the partial reverse of championship positions: Caden Cook, Connor Potter, John Jones, Callum Enstone, John Wilkie and Scott Ferguson. 20 seconds to go, so we are guessing the nerves still bite the drivers, even though this is a sim race. I know drivers have nerves for real, but when you've got a little bit of a countdown going on, it's going to be much the same. Lighting sequence is there, and we are ready for the start of event 1 for the evening. Kat Potter a wee bit slow away, but does get it off the line. Oliver Gibson gets his nose in front from Kat. Jamie Page is next up and 3rd position at the moment. Catherine trying to hold on to P2 but can't as Jamie Page goes up. It is the battle of the teammates. It's Lee Piercy who is ahead of Rich Hayden. He's actually got 2 cars in between him because Jack Smith starting well and Andy Dorman ahead of him. And are we going to speak too soon? But for a reverse grid start, partial or otherwise, that was nice and clean, Becky.
Yep, all looking good. I think there was a couple of bumps towards the back. Don't know if that resulted in anybody spinning and coming off. So hopefully they've all managed to keep it on track and moving forward. I think Thomas was involved in one of those instances along with Andy Carroll, so they have dropped a little bit, but I'm sure they'll rectify that and move their way up. But yeah, other than that, pretty nice and clean. And Jamie Page is another one to look out for. He's been putting in some good rounds and slowly becoming quite a common name on the podiums along with Andy Dorman, so always keeping an eye on those 2 who might start a little bit further back, but they soon get up to pace and cause some issues for the front runners.
They will, yeah. Thomas Potter, is he going to have a Lewis Stannard type day where he's not going to get a lot of luck? Lewis getting a few mentions despite the fact that he's not here. As I say, I do hope he's well, and that is Rich Hayden having a little moment there. And Rich already lost a little bit of ground on Lee Piercy, who runs in 5th place. It's Oliver Gibson who is the race leader from Jamie Page. Kat Potter again doing what she's learning to do very well, which is getting these front starts and making the most of them. Kat, best result, 4th place at Sebring, and that was her best VRRC result as well. And really getting better and better with every round. Couldn't really say that last week because she didn't have a huge amount of luck, but I think gaining confidence all the time. And there is Kat in the middle of shot at the moment. Jack Smith is behind her and working his way through. So remember, he's done a fair amount of work as the championship leader. Then it's Lee Piercy in the yellow fronted white and blue car, and Rich Hayden a couple of cars still behind Andy Dorman and Chris Blakey. Again, I look at this and I look at it every week, Becky, and think anyone in the top 10 is capable of a podium. In fact, we can probably go deeper than that actually in terms of the results, because we've got obviously Thomas in 11th place and Connor Potter's had some good stuff as well, as has Andy Carroll. So probably, given the right circumstances, everybody capable of a podium right now.
I don't think you can ever really write anybody off. Again, fortunes turn quite quickly as well. So like Lee Piercy was doing really well last week, and I think it was the third race, and unfortunately had a bit of a moment that dropped him back down, because I think he was running in podium positions, if I'm right, with my catch up. So yeah, it can change at the flick of a switch. So Ollie Gibson's got a nice lead going on at the moment, so he's probably feeling somewhat comfortable. But again, all it takes is that one error that can cause that pack to close up again. So you've just got to keep consistent laps coming in, and keep it nice and neat, or as neat as you can, with the kind of little undulating parts of the track and running a bit too wide and everything that comes with these great tracks that we've been visiting.
Jack Smith will want to try and close up though. Jamie Page is in P2 at the moment. Jack would love to go and grab another win. So could it be a 1-2 potentially for the brothers here? We're barely a quarter of the way through this one at the moment. There is Jamie Page in the predominantly pink car in P2 at the moment. There's Lee Piercy. So Lee back in 5th place ahead of Andy Dorman. And then it is Chris Blake, as you can see right behind Andy. Chris in the black and yellow car, started work on his real world car, as we saw on the socials over the course of the week. So again, like Scott Bugner, fairly busy and getting stuck in. And here comes the move from Lee Piercy. Let's see whether he can make the move on Cat Potter. He's got his nose in front of Cat at the moment, but Catherine's going to defend down into the corner, turns in. There's a little bit of a hit between the pair of them, but they do manage to carry on actually without losing out. So could have been worse.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was some sort of the type of contact you kind of want, not losing too much, although saying that Lee Piercy has fallen back into the pack behind him, whereas Catherine's managed to make a bit of time up the road. So, but yeah, she had the inside line on that corner there. So obviously she decided she was going to defend it, which again, fair play. Unfortunate for a little bit of contact there. So I'm sure Lee Piercy will be probably a little bit annoyed with that one, but I'm sure he'll keep on the back of Chris and hope not to lose out on too much time going forward, as Catherine hopefully will leave him behind to keep that with as Rich had a little bit of a skirmish exit there. Managed to keep it all collected though, but Andy Dorman has just got past him obviously as a result of that.
Yeah, Andy doing well and could well break into the top 3 here today. One of the things that strikes me about sim racing is that you only get, we don't race on these circuits very much. I can't recall doing Road Atlanta before in any of the series that I've done. I mean, granted, I've only been doing it for 18 months, but the point is you don't get to race on the same tracks as regularly as you would do in real life. So fair enough, there's only say 10 weekends of touring car racing, but they do the same ones all the time in BTCC, and in the UK we've only got the 10 circuits that you go to. So you are going to build up familiarity with real world circuits. So there's a lot more testing that needs to go in between the flicking around of circuits. And this one, when I looked at Jack Smith's lap and the circuit map, I think this is quite a tricky one.
I think it's a bit misleading. It looks almost like a bit of a squiggly sort of oval, so you kind of think, oh, it's not too challenging that, but you've got a lot of kind of sharp sort of like chicanes that creep up on you quite quickly, and it's not just a 1-2, it's like 4 corners after each other, so it's not unsettling the car too much. It's almost like, I'm going to reference Formula 1 here, but with COTA, because you've got such a change of direction so quickly, it's managing to get through those corners without unsettling your car too much, and losing it or just losing time and sliding a bit too much through a corner. As we've got a couple of battles going on with so we've got Thomas Potton on the back of Caden Cook, and he's just about trying to line up his move to get past him.
Yes, job to know where to look, isn't it, at the moment? But yeah, Caden is, as you can see from the timing tower, 8th place, Thomas in 9th. So decent recovery from that first lap incident for Thomas Potter, and trying to get some points on the board. It was nice to catch up with his Janetta Junior team at the weekend, and we'll talk more about that anon. But lovely move down the inside of Caden Cook. So Thomas up into 8th place and now chasing down Rich Hayden. But as you can see, there's a bit of vacant real estate ahead of him. I always swore to myself I'd never use that term, real estate, but it gets in your head, doesn't it, when you've got American bosses sometimes, which is a pity. But yeah, he's closing in now. He's trying to close in on Rich Hayden. Rich is actually up with Lee Piercy now. We see this from Rich. He seems to I don't know whether he loses out early stage, gets involved, but then comes back at everybody. I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago, like Kat Potter was well ahead of him, and Rich just got his head down and managed to catch up and beat her. He's done the same with Lee Pearcey here.
See, Rich is an advocate for saying, right, first lap, don't do anything too crazy. So I think he definitely follows those rules himself. So I think he probably knows it's probably better to maybe hold back a little bit, let maybe any carnage that might happen unfold in front of him, and then he can make his way through quite nicely and cleanly without getting into any tangles. It's always easier said than done because you're just eager to get going and get racing, and especially if you think, well, right off the start is always the best place to probably make up a few places, but it's working out the risk and reward of it. I know it is a sprint, but it's then thinking, well, yeah, I could get taken out in the first corner. Is that worth it? Just maybe sit back. So I think, yeah, Rich is one of those that he follows what he says to the drivers of maybe don't be too crazy at the beginning, settle into it, and then obviously go for the moves. But Smith did manage to get Jamie Page at a point earlier. I think that was when we were looking at Thomas Potter and Caden Cook battling. So he's managed to get past and managed to claim quite a bit of space between him. So he's chasing down after his brother. Because I wonder how much your kind of bragging rights with your sibling comes into play. Because I know if I was racing my sister, I'd always be bragging if I won. I'd be quite grumpy if I lost out, but I'd definitely be using that for the full week until we get to the next race weekend in inverted commas.
I think you need to, don't you? There's no point if you're not competitive. There's no point in racing, is there? As you say, Jack Smith's closing up. The gap was the combined gap when he was behind Jamie Page was just over 3 seconds. So second and a half back to Jamie, and then another second and a half back to Jack. Obviously caught Jamie, passed Jamie, but the gap's still 2.8 seconds. So Oliver Gibson's doing a good job out front at the moment. As we watch Catherine Potter now defending from Chris Blakey. I don't think we've had a Chris Blakey podium, have we yet? No, we haven't in this series. He was 5th at Spa, which was his best result. But if you're new to VRRC, he had quite a few second places. And here he goes about to make the move on the inside. So let's go back and focus on stats a little bit later. But still side by side, the pair of them. And Catherine trying to give him a little bit of room here as they go side by side. Still manages to annex the position back. So having to defend Catherine Potter, all nice and clean at the moment. But this is giving the impetus to Lee Pearcey to catch up, and also Thomas Potter has always been talking about that big space that Thomas Potter had ahead of him, and he's close right the way down on Rich Hayden now, and he's about to challenge Rich for 7th place. Andy Dorman down behind them, so Thomas very close. You can see him jabbing on the brakes. Oh, Thomas has got a problem.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit too close to Rich there and gave him a little bit of a bump. So I wonder if he's letting Rich go ahead of him to again try to make sure he's not going to get any penalties post-race. But unfortunately, they've then both lost. I think that was about 3 positions there with cars going past. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, so
looming large.
Yeah, Thomas has penalised himself, hasn't he? Like you've said, but it doesn't get Rich the time back, which is the frustrating thing for Rich Hayden. It's a big shame. Rich, by the way, again, if you're new, is the clerk for this. You're saying, well, how can he clerk and race at the same time? I don't think it's a conflict. I was looking at last week's results. He gave himself a 15-second penalty, so he'll go and look at the incidents. I think that's really honest of him, to be perfectly honest. I mean, you could have a separate clerk of the course, but it would cost everybody more money in terms of entry fees and the like. So, you know, Rich is keeping it as cost effective as possible. If you do want an official one, I suppose you could have it. We did with Minis. They managed to put a clerk out. Might be worth seeing whether we can get a Legends one along, possibly, for the Legends Cars Championship, as Lee Pearcey having a good look here at Catherine Potter. So Chris Blakey's dropped back as well, out of the mix as well. So there is Chris and Rich Hayden, with Thomas Potter still behind him in 11th place. I've completely forgotten about the clock. We've got 7 minutes 57 remaining on this one, and the gap is 2.2 seconds, Oliver Gibson to Jack Smith. So the two brothers still there at the moment. It's actually a repeat of last week at Imola, isn't it, in terms of Gibson and Smith. We had Andy Dorman third, but at the moment it's Jamie Page. I'm guessing still without microphone, as Lee Pearcey gets his nose in front again. So this is where he was a few laps ago. Is he going to be able to make it stick this time? Catherine Potter to his left as they come along the straight, and Catherine's going to get good momentum here. Chris Blakey trying to close up, but it looks like Lee Piercy has got his nose in front and he's just going to annex that and completes the move before they get to, I think, well, that might have been the corner where they touched before, actually.
Yeah, I think it might have been where they had that little bit of contact before. But yeah, nice and clean that time round. Although, yeah, a bit of a drag race right to the end.
It was a little bit, wasn't it? Back to Rich Hayden and Thomas Potter now down behind Andy Carroll. So Andy's making his way up. Thomas trying to get down on the inside. See whether he can slide the car through on the inside. He can't quite do that, but gets very close, carries the momentum out of the corner, gets very close indeed to the rear of Andy Carroll's car. And trying to have a look at coming through as we flick back to Catherine Potter, still in P5. So again, good consistent stuff from Catherine. Started off the front, but again showing the pace. You've got to have decent pace all the way through the race to stay where you are, which she has done very well. And of course, as the meeting goes on, I'm guessing she'll get more familiar with the track as well. Although last week, Kat was actually into the practice session before we even finished the end of evening interviews, so she was very keen to get some practice under her belt, and that's very clearly paying off.
Yeah, no messing about, straight back in. And again, it's building your confidence and experience. Obviously, she is racing against some guys that have been out racing in real life and then obviously done sim racing for probably a fair few years as well. So yeah, to hold her own against them as well. Yeah, it's always great to see, and yeah, well done to her as well for yeah, going out and giving it a go. And like you say, yeah, being able to defend as well as attack. So she's a proper mix now, and she's right in the pack, which is yeah, only going to add to the experience and make her probably a force to be reckoned with in later series, because she's quite always keen to be in all the championships we run. So it's great to have her as part of the grid.
Yeah, absolutely right. I actually don't think her first podium's very far away, and very possibly her first win. I think it's going to happen. I don't think it'll be too long, to be honest, because the improvement has just been like, you know, round on round. Yeah, running well, Kat Potter at the moment. 5th position. Chris Blakey trying to close down. I was talking about Chris's stats earlier on. He is a race winner with us at VRRC, but had 2nd position in the touring car head-to-head, Becky, which you did, into Lagos, and had a couple of wins in the World Endurance League, which we ran before. And he's having a look there, just gets into the back of the car, a little bit of body clattering there between the two, and Chris can't quite go through. He's got some scuffs on that car. He's definitely had odd bits of contact here and there on this race, but now plants the car down the inside. Got a good run after that last lot. But the great thing about this track is that you've got lots of twists and turns, and the advantage can fall to the other driver. If you're attacking, the other driver can get the advantage of the counter turns in terms of a defence. Real great big gaggle of cars going on here. And Thomas Potter looks for a dive down the inside. It was very opportune by Thomas, looking to try and get through on Rich Hayden, who gives him a hip and shoulder there, as my mate Paul O'Neill would say, and gets back in front of Thomas. So this is like a touring car race of years gone by.
Yes, some close racing, and I was going to say earlier I didn't think Jack would close that gap, but there's me eating my own words. Right on the right on the bumper. So yeah, we'll see how he's got plenty of time to be able to make a move happen. So he could probably give himself a lap to work out where he's going to make the move on his brother, and then go for the move, or maybe they'll just hold positions. I wonder if there's been any team briefing beforehand to sort of work out the rules of play. By the looks of it, no.
I was going to say, I agree with you there. He's having a go. He's got the line, isn't he, down into the next corner. Is that turn 10 they're coming into at the moment? We'll have a look. I think it is turn 10. So he is going to grab the initiative here. He certainly placed it about right. Under the bridge they go. And yeah, it was turn 10. So out of turns 11 and 12 and down the main straight. So, Oliver holding on to it. Jack's giving him a bit of a workout here. This is a fascinating battle between the pair of them. And fair play to Steve, our director, for, as you did, Becky, spotting that the gap had come down and flicking on to cover this battle for the lead. We've only got 2 minutes 39 to go. It's not inconceivable that Oliver could hang on. But as soon as I say that, of course, here comes the next attack.
Yeah, I think last time I flicked and kind of looked at the gap between them two, it was about 1.7 seconds. So Jack slowly been clawing it back in. I did see he was popping up a few kind of purple sectors here and there, so that's obviously helped close that gap. So I'm sure his brother's not liking the thought of that, of him being right behind him again. And I was going to say, but I saw with the Potter siblings, they had the youngest sibling as well having some coaching. So I wonder if Thomas is going to claw back on some of the coaching to his sisters, to not give them all the tricks of the trade as well, between them. But I know you've mentioned before, poor Dad Potter's going to have an empty wallet by the end of all of this, if all of them are going to get involved.
I think he will. Jack Smith finally makes it past. Yep, it is going to be expensive, but it'd be a shame if he denied Catherine a go in something. Maybe the pair of them could get into GT car or Brit car or something like that, where they could share a drive. Maybe that's the thing. But Jack Smith makes it through. 1 minute 32 to go. Remember, that was roughly his lap time for the hot lap here at Road Atlanta. So we will see the cars on their final lap. Thomas is in 9th place. Catherine Potter is still in 6th. And these two, Rich Hayden and Thomas Potter, still going at it hammer and tongs. I think there might be words between the pair of them at the end of it. They really are getting stuck in. That was Thomas just dishing out a little bit of a ping. Rides the curbs there, runs a little bit wide, as does Caden Cook at the back of this group. Andy Carroll in 10th place. Andy having a quiet couple of rounds, if you can call 10th place quiet. He's still, up with very quick race-winning drivers, and may well benefit from this, because Thomas is trying everything that he can to try and get past Rich Hayden and get the extra points. These guys, of course, are battling, Becky, for championship podium points, aren't they? So they're very, very much at the sharp end of the table.
Yeah, Andy Carroll will probably just be holding back, thinking, right, if them two come off in front of me, I've gained a couple of places there, so always a bonus. I was going to say, I don't know if they've passed Scott Ferguson now as Gibson and Smith, so I wonder if that could have come into play a little bit with the overtakes and stuff. But I think Jack's managed to get a comfortable enough gap to know he's not going to get dived by his brother. He was probably hoping that lap would have been the end of it, but we've got one more lap to go between them. But yeah, Thomas and Rich fighting back there as well. There might be some interesting conversations going on there. You never know. I know Rich normally tends to be quite harsh on himself for penalising, but which is, I wonder if he'll feel a bit aggrieved this time, because it's been a few touches here and there, but good to see them keeping track, which is always good. And Andy Carroll's thinking, keep battling, this is great, I can hopefully pick you both off on one of the corners coming up.
I don't know how long they can keep that. Every time we flick back to them, they're side by side. They managed to sort themselves out, didn't they? Just a little bit there. I thought the previous one was going to be the last lap, but Jack Smith won't mind. He'll have another lap's workout. Ollie getting a little bit crossed up there as he went over the curbs, but still another good solid P2 for Oliver Gibson at the moment. Jamie Page had a quiet 3rd place. Lee Pearce has tried to reel him in. Unsurprisingly, Jack Smith's got the fastest lap of the race as well, a 1 minute 23.814. Andy Dorman and Cat Potter have had a little coming together, so I'm guessing that was Cat Potter being challenged by Andy Dorman. I was going to say whether she was challenged. It was Chris Blakey that was the previous guy to get past, as they come through that beautiful sweep downhill and down towards the line, which Jack Smith does take the win from Oliver Gibson. So well done to Jack from Oliver. It's going to be Jamie Page in 3rd place. There he is in the distance, with Lee Pearcey due to take 4th position. They're a couple of seconds behind. So the two brothers will run round. Will they run round in formation on the slowing down lap? Doesn't look like they will. But Jack Smith takes another win in VRRC. Lee Pearcey has finished 4th. Chris Blakey next up from Andy Dorman. Cat Potter 7th. Rich Hayden in 8th place from Andy Carroll. And Thomas Potter dropping down into 10th place ahead of Caden Cook. Callum Enstone 12th from John Jones. Then it was Connor Potter, Scott Ferguson and John Wilkie completing our runners. And we'll have a word with our 3 podium finishers after the break.
I've had a lot of challenges in my life, and Helen was always there, supporting me through everything. Today, we're facing a new challenge. Helen has been diagnosed with a terrible disease. Dementia is nothing less than a worldwide epidemic. Formula One moves fast. By contrast, medical research can be painfully slow. We want to bring some of our Formula One technology into the laboratories. Our charity, Race Against Dementia, will help to accelerate the pace of dementia research. Let's beat dementia together.
First podiums of the evening. I'm guessing Jamie Page hasn't got his microphone sorted out. So 2 people on the podium. Is Jamie there? Hello, Jamie. Well done. Thanks very much, Richard. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, that doesn't really work, does it, doing it that way? But Jamie Page taking P3, another podium for him in the number 2 car. So you say, well done, Jamie. Look forward to getting your sound hooked up and having a chat with you a little bit later on. P2, though, goes to Ollie. Ollie, the virus has gone very clearly. The bug that you had. Obviously, you came back last week and had the opening race win, which was great, and good form again in that one.
Yeah, nearly won that one, but obviously Jack was just quite a bit faster. So he kept closing that gap in, and I saw that car getting, well, it's a very similar car to my car. So I'd have been happy if it was me, but obviously I'm driving my car, so it's not me, it's Jack, which is never what you want to see. And then obviously we just had that little battle, which we very rarely have, surprisingly. But no, it was nice to have a battle, and then my tyres, I'm sure he's in the same boat, but my tyres were just absolutely cooked at the end. So yeah, they were so worn. I had so much understeer, so especially the left side, it was just like, I just couldn't believe how much tyre wear there was. In practice, I hadn't done that far into a race, so I didn't really know what to expect, but I'd heard chatter of tyre wear, so I knew sort of what to expect, but I didn't think it would be that bad. So a bit sketchy in the last few laps, but yeah, I'm happy with the race overall. Just good start, good battles, and just need to improve that pace and that tyre wear for this next race.
That's an interesting comment actually about tyre wear and practice in terms of going for the whole race. So you obviously, I'm guessing you have done some practice. I haven't looked at all the practice times. I've got to say Becky's done more homework than me. Well done, Becky. And looked at what's been going on with practice. I've kind of dipped in and out of it, but so I take it you haven't done a race distance here in practice.
Maybe 10 minutes race pace, I think. I tend not to do that much practice. I used to do loads in other leagues I used to do, but nowadays I just get quite bored after a few laps. So it's just like, I wish there were other cars around me. So
yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, so I don't do that much, not compared to a few people. Some people do 100, 200 plus laps, which I have no idea how they do. So yeah, but not for
and you
me.
can say officially you're at uni, so you're working hard studying, aren't you, all the time?
Oh, absolutely, all the time.
What are you studying, by the way? I'm not sure I've asked you before.
I'm foundation year this year, but motorsport engineering. So I'm keeping with the passion, I guess, is the way to put it. But so I'm looking forward to the next few years. But yeah, just this year I've got to get out of the way. Sort of simple, just basics. So just get that out of the way and then start proper next year.
Is there anybody on the course with you? You're actually at uni, aren't you? So are there any other names you might know from real world championships down there with you?
Probably not. I don't think so. I mean, Jack did it, but obviously he's graduated now. So yeah, I don't think there's anyone off the top of my head. But I know a few people have got sims and stuff. I'm gonna try and get them in. Try and rope them into this, but we'll see. But yeah. It looks like a good course, and Jack had fun with it, so hopefully I'll have the same experience.
That'd be good. There's a lot of options actually at the moment for students to get involved in engineering side actually at the track. So if you need to talk about any of that, we can do it off the stream. But well done on P2. I'll have a good start to the evening, and hopefully catch you again a bit later on.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
Well done, Ollie Gibson in P2. And we'll go on to our winner, Jack Smith, and the livery on the graphic. But apart from a ping of yellow, which comes up, and that tells us that Jack is there. Well done, Jack. A great win. And a nice little battle there, wasn't there, with Ollie?
Yeah, I've been waiting for that battle all season long, so it's nice to finally get a little battle with him. And it was it was quality. It was a nice bit of side-by-side action, and yeah, I knew it was we were quite away in the lead, so I didn't want to risk too much. So I backed off at T1 and tried not to make any silly moves. So yeah, but it was a great little battle. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, Ollie's got massive pace. I know he feels like he's not got the pace to be racing with me, but he definitely has. He was doing like low 24s or something in that race, which is only like a tenth faster than one of my faster laps. So yeah, he's massively quick. He just when we're racing, I think he looks in his mirror a bit too much when I was chasing him down, so he just needs to get his head down, I think. But yeah, no, he did really well there, and there's a nice bit of racing with Jamie as well in that race as well, which was quality. So yeah, really enjoyed that. It was a good start. Got quite lucky with how everyone was positioned. And yeah, we got away clean, had a really good start again, and yeah, we just went on from there. Really, it was good.
I mean, you do coaching sessions, and if you're not doing them, you certainly offer them to the various drivers. But a lot of the guys in the top 10 now, and I have to say girls as well, a girl with Catherine Potter. I was saying to Becky during that race, we looked down at the list, and it wouldn't surprise me if any of the drivers actually looking right the way, to John Wilkie, Scott Ferguson, given a reverse grid, any of those people are capable of getting a podium now. It's that competitive.
Yeah, 100%. It's ridiculous. Obviously, I'm getting a bit of luck my way, fortunately, which is why I'm able to just get up the grid so fast. But if there's a chance that I don't get it up so fast on the first lap, I'm going to be stuck behind for laps on end, and then it's going to be one of them guys that gets the podium. So yeah, it's anyone's game at this point, really. So yeah, the racing's really come on. I think this season specifically, it's just way better than what we used to be. So yeah, we're definitely taking massive strides, and I think everyone's really improved. I think Catherine's probably the biggest improvement out of everyone. She's like massively grown as a driver. So yeah, she's pretty good now. I was following her. I was like, the line's like almost perfect. So yeah, she just needs that little bit of extra like minimum speed through the corners, and I think she'll be up there with Thomas probably. That'll be good, wouldn't it? A side by side battle for them two.
She keeps beating him at the moment, so
yeah. Oh dear, they're gonna have a family battle, aren't they? Family feud.
I think Catherine needs to be Janetta Academy, which is the senior version, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure it could probably get a go, but again, it's quite an expensive move, isn't it? Because it's not just jumping in a car and paying for the car. You've got to do your ARDs and buy kit and everything else. So, and I guess that's a world you're sort of moving into, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely trying to. A mate of mine's thankfully finally given me an opportunity at a race team for next season, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, not driving unfortunately, but it's data engineering. So yeah, really looking forward to that. So just hoping it comes through. But yeah, next year should be the year for me, hopefully. So yeah, get my foot into the motorsport world, which would be nice.
What you should have done is you should have done the mini championship, and we could have got you a run at the mini taste today. So,
yeah. Runner. Yeah. Oh, well, you can keep pulling them straws for me, Richard. I'll be there for sure.
Well, actually, I mean, I'll have a word with Rhea and see if there's an opportunity. I don't know. I think you might be able to have a drive, but maybe see about that. I think it's the first week in. You're able to get to Snetterton because that's where it is.
Yeah, anything's possible, Richard. There's a drive on offer. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I'll have a word with Rhea, see what we can do. I think we're trying to work towards getting another series going as well. If any, if we
that'd be cool.
Would you do that if we did another mini series?
Yeah, I think I think the only reason I didn't do it last time is because it was one after the other, and I just wanted to.
It was TCR. Yeah, it was the same as TCR, the touring car.
Yeah, I'm doing Legends, doing whatever series comes after that, really, and yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah,
excellent. Okay, well, we've got 90 seconds to go, so I'll say well done on the win, Jack. Thanks for the chat, as ever, and no doubt we'll probably have a little word later on, but good luck for race 2.
No worries, thank you very much.
Jack Smith, our race winner, and we also heard from Ollie Gibson. Jamie Page, microphone less, unfortunately, but a very well position, a little bit lonely towards the end, but took took that third place from Lee Piercy, was in fourth. Chris Blakey fifth from Andy Dorman. Catherine Potter seventh and Andy Carroll. Thomas Potter in 10th from Caden Cook, Callum Enstone. John Jones next from Connor Potter, then Scott Ferguson and John Wilkie. And it's Callum Enstone that lines up on pole position for our second race of the evening, with Caden Cook alongside Thomas Potter here and Andy Carroll on row 2. And because we said about the strength, Becky, of the field that we've got here, you know, that's just proof, isn't it, that any one of these guys, Callum Enstone, he's podium place, so too is Caden Cook.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these two defend, especially with Thomas and Andy right behind them. So I'm hoping they manage to make their cars as wide as possible to give them a proper battle throughout this whole race. So, and get maybe some new names on the podium.
That would be real good. Callum Enstone, podium finisher in one of our mini rounds. I think it was the Silverstone round, if memory recalls properly. And he will get away from the second place car of Caden Cook. So it's a good start. They're side by side. Caden Cook with his nose in front as they go into turn 1. The fairly tighter right-hander. It's certainly the tightest of the right-handers before they get up to turn 6. The rest of it fairly snaky. Thomas Potter is in third place. Callum is next up, and Thomas has had an off. He's definitely having a Lewis Stannard type evening at the moment, but he's managed to keep it on. So he's still in P3, but he's not having the rub of the green at the moment, Thomas Potter. Chris Blakey 4th, Andy Carroll putting him under pressure, then Rich Hayden looking for a little bit more luck in this one. Oliver Gibson is in 8th, Jamie Page 9th, Cat Potter is in 10th, and again, yeah, a little bit of contact here and there, but once again, I hope it's not going to be like last week where we get the total reverse and the most damage from race 3, which we did last week.
You know, everybody seems fairly calm on the start at the moment, and hopefully that continues into the next race as well when it's a bit more jumbled up, which always, keeps everybody on their toes. So, no major offs, no big crashes or anything. So good to see everybody still facing forward and running. It's always a good start to a race. Andy Dorman looked to have a really mega start and then drop back a little bit, so a bit of tussling going on there, but he's obviously going to fight Andy Carroll ahead of him and Chris Blakey, especially when they're side by side, probably worried about each other. He'll be hoping to get past the both of them in one nice move, as he's almost alongside Chris Blakey there.
He's having a look, isn't he? And Chris goes, gets a little bit of oversteer and very nearly clatters into Andy Dorman. In fact, does it a little bit later on once they come out of the corner. But it's still Chris Blakey there from Dorman. Oliver Gibson next up from Rich Hayden. Jack Smith is down behind them as well. Jack just biding his time, one would think, just looking to... He's got a good championship. He doesn't need to throw anything away. But Ollie's made some good progress. So Ollie up into P7. Caden Cook, though, completes the first 2 laps. So 2 laps. We should have lap lead points as well. Actually, I'm not going to confuse that. Rich will hate me for saying that, lap lead points. But Caden Cook's done a good job here, leading for 2 laps, but he's only a second or so, 8/10 now, clear of Thomas Potter in P2 as we pick up on Caden Cook. Thomas Potter giving chase. Settled down, worried me for a minute, that opening lap movement that Thomas Potter had off onto the grass, but he settled in well. So Callum Enstone looking good in 4th place as well. Another driver that's getting better and better. This is, of course, totally different to the minute that he raced. And now putting the move on Andy Carroll. Does Callum, can't quite hang on to it, and that ends up leaving the door open. Got spanked for that a little bit, but fair play to him for having a go. You've got to have a go. He has lost out of it, but Callum Enstone showing us what a racer he is there. Yeah,
you've got to give it a go, like you say. A little bit squirmy there from Chris coming out of that corner as well. So again, all it takes is one of them to have a bit of a trip up over each other, and Callum would have come out on top there, but he's still in the pack, so it's just probably going to keep battling until there's a bit of a break between them. So whether that's a mistake from somebody or just maybe, again, don't want to jinx it, don't want there to be any crashes, but just a little bit too much argy-bargy, and then you can capitalise on some of those moves. But as long as you stay in that pack, keep with them. But it looks like Callum's now having to defend from it looks like he's just being got by Rich Hayden. No, he's backed off again, but I think Jack Smith might have managed to get past Callum then. And a little bit of a spin there. Not dodging in the background though as well, so hopefully everybody's managed to get round him.
Yeah, shame for Callum. It was a good run, and you know, well called there by you, Becky. He was really hanging on well. He was challenging for positions, and he'll have learnt from that. It was a lovely, clean move. Actually, I can't remember who we were on board with, but we were looking back. I was looking in the mirror. I think it was Ollie Gibson we were on board with, wasn't it? And we were looking back, and Jack was just using a little bit more curb and just looked so smooth as he closed up on Callum and made the move around about half a lap ago. As Oliver Gibson now gets up into 5th place, his next target will be Chris Blakey. So Ollie working his way through. Jack not that far behind as well, but Andy Dorman is not an easy person to catch or pass. Has he got it done? He's got the outside momentum. They're still going to be side by side. No, they're not, because Ollie Smith has got it, and now we see Andy will be looking in his mirrors, and a case of deja vu, because it's the same livery but with the yellow mirrors. And just look at Jack Smith there, rides the curve, just does the optimum on the curves. I think this is a track that really suits the championship leader. Not that many of them don't, of course.
Yeah, I think Jack's one of these, he will always utilise the space he can. So I think even when we were looking at Monza with the higher curbs, I think that hindered him a bit because of how high some of the curbs are. So he couldn't ride them as much, and he couldn't take the wider exit out of corners and get more of a momentum. And I think it always kind of baffles. It's like, well, surely you're going further on the track, but it's just keeping it nice and smooth through every sort of bound of corners, and not having to be too sharp on turning, unless obviously it's a hairpin and you kind of have to. But keeping it nice and smooth so there's the least resistance through them. So yeah, utilising as much curb on the way in and the way out, because he couldn't quite do it there because he's gone for the inside, so he couldn't go for a sweeping sort of entrance in. But then to get the momentum on the way out, and yeah, utilise all the curbing as long as it's not going to unsettle your car too much and cause you to have a bit of a moment and lose a bit of time.
Yeah, absolutely right. And again, we saw Andy Dorman there actually took to the inside, didn't he, to try and give Jack room to continue this battle. I think Jack's maybe just about got him now. Rich Hayden's trying to come up as well and get in the mix. Still not done, so it is hard work, but they've played clean and fair by my book, those two. But ultimately, it's Jack Smith that goes through. Again, not an easy circuit for an overtake to be achieved on. Oliver Gibson is now still in front of Jack Smith. Ollie in 5th place, Chris Blakey ahead of him. So Ollie trying to get stuck into Chris Blakey as we wind down past the quarter stage of the race. 13 minutes gone of the 20. Thomas Potter is the race leader. Not showing on my timing screen as race leader, so we need to refresh the screen. Okay, now he is. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Caden Cook still in a very good P2 at the moment, so Caden running well. For some reason I didn't put Caden on my stats list. Best result so far for Caden is 7th place, I think, if we look across. So this is really good stuff from him, as Jamie Page has a little off and drops back. Thomas Potter gets fastest lap again, the race leader, 3 seconds clear of Caden Cook here. Caden will probably be thinking at this stage about maybe not being able to close in on Thomas, although Thomas, if he makes a mistake, will lose that. But I think Caden will be looking in his mirrors at Andy Carroll in P3. But are we going to see a maiden podium here? Certainly, whatever happens, I think with the drive we've seen from Caden Cook here, he might be one of our first drivers to stick his head above the parapet for driver of the round.
Yeah, great drive so far from Caden, and if he can keep that gap with Andy Carroll behind him, but it looks like Andy's going to have more to worry about with Chris closing in. There's a smaller gap between there, so hopefully Caden will be hoping they'll keep battling. He can just keep focused forward. Yeah, maybe not worry too much about trying to catch up with Thomas. Just keep putting in good laps, and you never know, it might always fall your way towards the end. You never know if somebody's pushing a little bit too much in the beginning, like sure Ollie said in the interviews, tyres towards the end, because again he was probably pushing a bit too much. So if that comes into play towards the end, Caden could always get a win if Thomas has had to push extra hard, because he did lose a few positions at the beginning, so he's had to make those up, whereas Caden stayed there or thereabouts, hasn't he? It was Callum on pole, was it not? So yeah, he's not had to lose out on too much to then make it back up. So you see if that comes into play towards the end. I know the gap is increasing at the moment, so I wonder if Thomas is just wanting to set fast laps, which they all do, but see if tyre wear comes into play towards the end.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's he might have something in hand, having not had to come through the field, but some great racing going on here. Chris Blakey now is going to assume the chase of Caden Cook, goes up onto the podium potentially, and then he's got the two brothers right behind him as well. How are we doing for time? We're only at half distance, and you know, Caden, this is where we put it into perspective. Caden Cook has done half the race and is in P2. Now, if Thomas Potter had gone off, Caden Cook would be in the lead of this one. Whether that changes the dynamic, and I'm not sure whether there's more pressure being the leader than there is in P2. I think I would feel more pressure if I was the race leader rather than P2.
I suppose it depends who's coming up behind you. So with Chris, Ollie, and Jack not too far behind, I'd probably be a little bit nervous if I was Caden. Again, you've just got to keep your head forward. Not like Jack said about his brother Ollie. Don't look in the mirrors too much. Obviously, be aware that there might be a car there to not take them out when you go for a corner. But yeah, try to keep focused on what you're doing. I think there was maybe a slight touch there between Rich and Andy Carroll, as Rich goes very wide and manages to drop back behind Andy, as Jack claimed a couple of places there. So he's benefited very nicely from that.
I think Rich was off to the rallycross circuit there, but there's that option here. But yeah, Thomas Potter is 6 seconds clear at the moment. Caden Cook, the gap, Chris Blakey now 1.5 seconds with just under half the race to go. But you know, either way, whatever happens to Caden Cook, really impressive first half of the race. That is in the bag, that is done, and he led for two or three laps at the start as well. So super stuff from him. That is noted and logged. Oh, Rich Hayden bounces the curbs. Yeah, good job that not getting the bodily feedback on that, because that probably would have hurt a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Probably a bit of a rough sort of corner, that one. So settle back down, managed to keep it going straight. So again, always a bonus that. But I wonder if Chris is getting a little bit confused about which car's which, especially if they start darting out from behind each other. You're like, well, actually, I don't know which one's closest, because like you say, the livery is exactly the same. You're just going to get a flash of yellow of Jack just behind Ollie. So they might need to try to coordinate a team move here to get past Chris. But like we always say, the more these battle, the more hopefully Caden can kind of keep focusing. But that gap is closing, so actually the three of them battling isn't causing too much of a problem in terms of them losing time and losing pace, because they're too worried about each other. They're still just pushing forward. So it does seem like this trio, they're just pushing each other and they're just managing to keep putting in quick times. Jack's got the fastest lap at the moment, and it was his last lap. So even though he's the third one in this trio, he's managing to set quicker times. So he's just probably eager to get past them and manage to chase after the leading two.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Really, really swift stuff, closing in again, and again, really smooth, and just has a real flow to the corners that we've seen from him, even though he's chasing, and that's what he's doing at the moment. I don't think he is actually looking to make a move. I think he wants to. He said he didn't want to battle Ollie too hard in race number one, and you know, risk maybe going off. The question is really, I'm wondering whether he's going to start to make a move. He's dropping, not dropping back, but it's Ollie having another go now at Chris Blakey. They're all closing in on Caden Cook in P2, and it's going to be around the outside move, very tight indeed. But Chris Blakey's got the run here. He's got to try and stick it in. Ollie, like Andy Dorman did, taking to the grass a little bit as they go into turn 10A. Drops back a little bit from Chris Blakey at the moment. And I've got to say, right thing to do, because he didn't have the momentum or the space to be able to go through. So he drops back and he's going to regroup. He's obviously keeping an eye on his mirror. I guess he knows his brother's not going to do anything silly because he heard the interview from race one. But if he drops too far back, then he'll know that Jack will actually have a go at him. We are 6 minutes 43 on the clock. Thomas Potter now 9 seconds clear, and perhaps heading for his first podium interview of the evening. But this three-way squabble about to maybe become a four-way squabble for second position, Caden Cook. And at the moment, it's the three-way dice. And here comes Jack Smith, who is now looking a little bit racy, and he's gone right the way around the outside of his brother, trying to get around the outside of Chris Blakey too. It doesn't pay off, and he has to drop back. But that's the luxury, if you can call it a luxury, of being at the back of this trio.
Yeah, I think Jack's just trying to weigh up how he gets past both of them without any major damage or taking any of them off. and he's just waiting for that opportunity. So I know you said he's not wanting to battle his brother that much. He's just waiting for an opening to get through nice and cleanly, not take too much energy out of his tyres or take too much speed out of it. Didn't quite manage to work that time, but he's getting his eye in. So I wonder if that's going to be a move we do see come to full fruition as he lines it up maybe a bit better next time. As Gibson's almost right alongside Chris there as well, but drops back behind as they come out the corner.
Ollie Gibson was trying a slightly different line there, and it's not worked for him as he went into the final couple of corners, and Jack Smith gets in front. So it's Jack's turn now to have a go. This might work for the brothers, because if Jack opens the door on Chris Blakey, I tell you, I'm actually leaning into the screen. I'm enthralled with this. Literally, my body language is getting close to the screen to see I'm on the edge of my seat, literally, as this battle continues to go on. Caden Cook in P2, Chris Blakey in P3, now under pressure from the championship leader. But now look, we've got Andy Dorman coming up as well. Jamie Page isn't that far behind as well. They are all there. They all want to get stuck in. Oliver Gibson maybe just having a little bit of a breather. He's dropped back a little bit from Jack. I think he needs to be a wee bit closer to Jack to try and follow through if he could do it. But now we've got everybody is the meat in the sandwich, apart from the drivers that are at the front and back of this group respectively. And Jack Smith's managed to get the overlap now as they go side by side. This is for third place. Chris Blakey in third at the moment. Caden Cook still in second at the head of them. And Jack Smith just trying to pick his way through. But you can see as they go downhill, the next one is the right-hander. Is going to be able to get this one. Sorry, left-hander, which they go through now. And pressure on Caden Cook sends him across the grass. But he manages to rejoin, loses momentum. Chris Blakey up into P2. Caden's lost out. He's done 3/4 of the race in P1 and P2. He can't be disappointed. He'll be disappointed that he's gone off, but he cannot be disappointed with the staying power he's had down. Now it is side by side and door handling for P2, Becky, and it's got.
Chris goes wide as well. Yeah, Chris has gone. So again, probably pushing too much on those tyres, and then they've just been like, no, I've had enough now. So Jack and Ollie have managed to make their way through, but Andy's again not too far. So we've got Jamie spinning in the background. So it definitely seems as we get towards the end of these races, tyres are just dropping off ever so slightly. So it's just being aware of that. So maybe then for the third race, everybody would have kind of worked it out a bit more, been like, okay, right, I can't maybe push and make those moves quite like I did in the beginning laps. So yeah, a shame for Caden there, but still running nicely in fifth position.
Yeah, decent result, isn't it? He was under a heck of a lot of pressure there, but the build-up was great. Did a super job. Jack Smith and Ollie Gibson doing a grand job as well. Just sort of waiting their moment, picking them through. There was no way, I don't think, that they'll be able to do anything about the 12-second lead that Thomas Potter's got. Thomas has done exactly what he needs to do, which was get up front early. Was it a mistake in the first lap? I can't really recall. We'll ask him when we get the interview, if we get the interview. And he's just gone and away. Jack Smith has come through. Thomas has got fastest lap again as well, 1:23.983. So kind of traded that with Jack Smith through the course of the race. So we are looking at Andy Carroll trying to close down on Chris Blakey. Rich Hayden is in behind them. Lee Pearcey, by the way, Rich's teammate. I haven't seen anything of him in this one. He's in 11th. Ahead of... Did I see Ollie Smith on the time? See, Ollie Smith's back with us now. Was Ollie in race one? I can't remember.
I think he tried to join, but didn't quite have enough time. So I think he unfortunately had to sit in the pits and watch the first race. But he did try to get in.
Right. Well, I'm glad Ollie's here. Welcome, Ollie. Thanks for joining us and getting on track. That's a bonus. So we're up to 17 cars in this one as Andy Dorman really getting stuck into Oliver Gibson. I reckon, Becky, it's as you said, the tyres are starting to go. So we can see now in the last couple of laps who can dance around on the tyres and maybe get an extra position.
Yeah, and Ollie was the one kind of paving the way forward for him and his brother, so he's probably done a bit more of the work on his tyres. So I wonder if Andy senses that and knows actually maybe he might be able to get another podium and another good showing for Andy Dorman, who again seems to have got fully into this championship, which is great to see.
He has indeed. Caden Cook and Chris Blakey dicing it out. This is for fifth position. It's all very close between the pair of them. And is Chris going to get down the inside here? It will convert to the outside for the next corner. They're still side by side again. That Chris Blakey machine very scuffed as they come downhill. And I think Chris has just about got the sweep to do it. He does. So Chris Blakey in fifth position. Caden Cook now coming under pressure from Andy Carroll. The recovering Jamie Page is in 8th place, 1:10 to go. I reckon Thomas might have this one and another lap because he's that far in front, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he'll definitely probably have another couple, and if he keeps going at this rate, he'll just have to keep going until it runs out. He's setting in such a domination there with that gap. So he's done great to again just keep facing forward, keep going, not get too worried about what's happening behind him. Again, he's probably none the wiser because he's so far up the road, which is always a lovely position to be in. So yeah, great performance by Thomas, and like we said last week, he was making his way through the pack. So good to see him back on top form.
Yeah, and with fastest lap in this one as well, that tells me that championship he's going to be with Oliver Gibson, isn't he, at the back of the grid for race 3. Maybe we're going to get to see those two slugging it out or battling it out in race 3, which will be a treat for sure. We've got 13 seconds on the clock. It is going to be another lap. It's almost like what happened in race 1, isn't it? Just pipped across the line before the clock ran out and we got an extra lap out of it. So Thomas is doing that. Becky, you called that exactly right. Jack Smith in P2. What's the gap? 12.25. Jack's still trying to... And Jack Smith gets fastest lap now. So they are trading fastest laps. So the tyres might be going off. How has he done that?
Yeah, it's amazing that they're seeming to still get performance out of the cars, but you've got less fuel, so maybe that's helping a little bit. But Thomas could have, with the lead he had then, he could have sat just before the finish line and passed just as the time ran out. But where's the fun in that, as he looks like he's closing up to the back of the grid as well.
Yeah, he's Callum Enstone, isn't it, that he's closing down on. So Callum, who was strong for the early laps, has a little moment off and sees Thomas coming through, but it's Potter 12 seconds clear of Jack Smith and heading on the northbound back straight for the last time. Really good, strong run this from Thomas, so he'll be pleased to get his evening back on track as he now goes downhill in towards the left-hander. And this, the chicane, in the old days of the original Grand Prix circuit, used to go straight on rather than do that chicane. But here they come back onto the original part of the circuit, through the final corner and across the line to complete race 2 of the evening, and it's a win for Thomas Potter with Callum Enstone just behind him. But remember, a lap down on the timing screen, so Jack Smith goes through in P2, and then it was Oliver Gibson in 3rd completing the podium. So Smith and Gibson, 2 more podium interviews. Andy Dorman next up from Chris Blakey, Andy Carroll, Caden Cook 7th at the flag from Jamie Page. Rich Hayden is going to finish in 9th place going across the line there from Catherine Potter, again in 10th. Lee Piercy 11th from Ollie Smith. Great that Ollie has made it out to join us this evening and finishes in 12th place. The other runners at the moment, John Jones, John Wilkie, Connor Potter in 15th, Callum Enstone in 16th, and Scott Ferguson in 17th. And we'll have a podium chat for you in just a moment. So welcome back, and our second interview of the evening goes to Ollie Gibson. It was 2nd in race number, 3rd in this one. For a long time, Ollie, I was literally on the edge of my seat watching you guys closing up on Caden Cook, and it was very, very close.
Yeah, a bit too close, I thought, at some points. No, me and Jack were working together, and then I couldn't get past Chris for ages, and then Jack went in front, and a few laps later who's passed. So I think it shows that I've got a bit of work to do on race pace, but racecraft even. And then but yeah, and then just keeping Andy Dorn behind. Those last few laps were stressful. So But yeah, good race, 2 good results. I'm happy with that. I didn't think I'd be back on the podium. Just you never know what happens. My race 2s and 3s this series haven't been great, so it's nice to get a good one and a good little battle as well.
Talk about racecraft and maybe needing to look at it, but racecraft isn't just barreling down the inside. It's knowing when to sit back and pick your moments. And this is from where I'm sitting. This is a difficult track to make the right move on. And when Jack got past you, the dynamic of that battle changed because, you know, we'd had Caden was being reeled in by you guys for a start, and you know, all of a sudden you weren't chasing one car; that car was chasing somebody else. So, yeah, I don't think your racecraft's an issue, to be honest.
Oh, I don't know. I think I'm.
I guess as a driver, you always want to improve, though, don't you? So
yeah.
I get where you're coming from, but you know, don't beat yourself up over it.
Yeah, no, I just think I'm not decisive enough. Just like hesitant a bit. So I just need to make those moves. I think a bit sort of. I don't know how to put it, but more determined. I think so. But yeah, no, something to work on at least.
It's a really good race, and you know, good, clean, smooth stuff, and a podium certainly nothing to worry about. But tyres an issue towards the end of that one again?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think I was so distracted with like what felt like 20 other cars around me that I don't think I noticed. But no, I had a look at when I crossed the line, and they were about the same as race 1. So yeah, there's still a bit of an issue. I haven't managed to figure that one out yet, but no, they held on and they were fine till the end. It's just obviously I think I'm wearing mine out a bit more than others, so definitely that's something else I need to work on. So I'm making a big list here and many excuses as always. So, but yeah, no, just something to work on. And then obviously this last race I'm starting quite a bit further back, so it should be a completely different race, this one, compared to the first 2.
Yeah, it should be, shouldn't it? Looking ahead, we've got Silverstone next week, so I'm guessing you've done more laps on Silverstone than you have on Road Atlanta.
I have, but I'm not really a fan of Silverstone, so a
Why
bit
is
picky.
that? What?
Oh, I don't know. I don't mind it in like high downforce stuff, but when it's like sort of more like this sort of stuff, I don't get along with it. I never have a good, especially in VRRC. I never have a good time at Silverstone. So
next week will be the first time, and I'm not going to be able to jinx you next week. So you got Jack will be doing it instead.
Oh dear. That would be alright.
That'd be interesting. Anyway, we've got another race to go before that, so hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up with you on the podium again after race 2. Good luck with that one, mate, and well done on P3 in race 2.
Cheers, thank you.
Oliver Gibson P3, P2, Jack, well done. A good drive. Sort of picked your way through. Were you giving those guys a bit of breathing space for a while? I mean, you look super smooth out there, I've got to say, but it looked like you were kind of waiting a couple of laps for them to sort themselves out, and then it became a little bit busier, didn't it?
Yeah, I was just sticking behind Ollie. See if I start battling with Ollie, we're going to lose touch to Chris, and I know Chris was closing in on Caden. I think it was in front. So yeah, I wanted to keep the pack close. I didn't want them to go for it. And I also wanted to see if Ollie was going to make a move. So I sent him some feedback after that race already about what he should change. So yeah, I think he's read it now. He just sent me a message back. But yeah, no, I just wanted to see what Ollie could do really. And then it got to like 5 minutes remaining, and I was like, you know what? If Ollie's not going to get past, I saw him slow out of one of the final corners. I'll just like I'll overtake him here, and I'll see if I can open the door for him. And I think coming down the start finish, I think I was going straight, and I think Chris had just touched my car, and it put him off, and he locked up going into T1, which is a shame because I was looking forward to that battle. But yeah, that opened the door, and then obviously me and Ollie then followed through for the rest of the race, and saw Andy catching him in the end, but he managed to hold him off, so that was really good. So yeah, really happy.
It was good, wasn't it? And you know, there wasn't an on-track battle with you and Thomas, but you did trade fastest laps with Thomas in the sort of middle to end part of the race.
Oh yeah.
Which was good, and hopefully you two are going to be together, and maybe we'll see a little bit of a bun fight between you guys, or not a bun fight, but a decent race between the pair of you in race 3.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we will. We'll get that opportunity. I think maybe even in this race because we're quite close again. So yeah, we'll see what happens. it's going to be a tricky one though, full reverse. So yeah, we'll have to be a bit more cautious going into T1 this time, and that first sector is going to be a nightmare. So yeah, we'll try and get through that, and if we get through that, I'm sure there'll be some great racing out at the end of it. So yeah, we'll just have to see how we go. But yeah, just heads down really. That's all I can really do at this point.
I'm going to do the curse of the commentator. So we've had 2 really good starts with not too much damage on the reverses, but as you say, it's full reverse. So we'll wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, for sure. I just want to quickly shout out everyone.
Yeah, go.
So yeah, shout out to all my family, my girlfriend. I know she's out at the minute, but she's told me she's going to watch it when she gets home, which would be nice. So yeah, shout out to her. Shout out to my mum, all my parents. Shout out to everyone on DK Power. Dave's always watching these, and Mike as well. Shout out to the Hot Cabin squad. Located proudly on the front bumper of this car. Oppie loves it. He really loves the racing. So yeah, no, he's a good friend of ours. So yeah, shout out to everyone who makes this livery possible. And yeah, wouldn't be able to do it without him.
Nice one. Well done, Jack. Thanks for that. And running out of time, so I better get on to Thomas real quickly. We'll catch up with you later, Jack. Good. And Thomas Potter takes the win. Well done, Thomas. First time that we get to have a chat with you. I've only got about a minute and a half, so I'm going to have to be relatively quick. But yeah, you got your head down and away, 12-second lead, traded fastest laps with the championship leader, so not too shabby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I could have probably gone even faster if I really wanted to push. But still, by the time I was actually getting in more in my groove, it was about 10 minutes remaining, and I realised my tyres were already a bit worn. So I was like, yeah, let's not push. We'll just go like probably 98% instead of that 400.
I like that push. That's a little bit like a Mickey Flanagan out, isn't it? If you know Mickey Flanagan, you probably don't actually, to be fair.
I've got no clue, but I can tell you, what my push is. That is not 100%, that's 110%.
No, I get what you're saying. Inevitably, you're going to have to talk about the weekend. Did you enjoy the scholarship you got through? In case our viewers don't know, you did get through to the finals day, which is not something that everybody does, but you managed it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was hoping you were going to ask that of us. I was going to hint towards it, but yeah, it was such an amazing weekend out. I mean, I think that whole week was actually amazing for me. All of the U-Fiber day on Monday in my car down at Teesside, where I don't think I've ever had so many cameras on me at once. And then obviously going up to the scholarship, which was a very last-minute entry. I think it might have been one of the latest, and then obviously to make it through a finalist, which was incredible, and well, just learned so much about the actual Ginetta car as itself.
Yeah, it was a very, very strong scholarship this year as well. And I put a couple of social posts out about how international the whole thing is now. I mean, it's not European Championship status officially with the FIA, but you know, to all intents and purposes, that is a European Championship now, because you've got drivers from all over the place coming in: Poland, Romania, Sweden. You know, the whole thing. It's tough competition, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first came in, I didn't expect there to actually be people from a different country, then I realised most of them were from a different country. It was pretty incredible.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. I need to let you get away, Thomas, because we've got the race 3 coming up. So good luck for that, and hopefully we'll get a podium chat again a little bit later on.
Absolutely, thank you.
So Thomas Potter there with a very brief look at a scholarship. I've got another scholarship to go on a week on Friday. We're up at Blighton again for the Fiesta. So if Ginetta's is like a European Championship, Fiesta's very definitely the equivalent of a national British Championship, because we've got drivers now making the move from Fiesta Juniors into F4. They've been doing it for a couple of years, to be absolutely fair, but again, the people making the jump getting stronger and stronger. So if you're watching this and you fancy getting yourself or son or daughter into a Fiesta for next year, or just getting an experience day, then have a look at that. I think there are a couple of places left, so if not, they'll be able to squeeze you in, I'm sure. But here we are then with Scott Ferguson on pole position now. John Wilkie is alongside, and then it is Ollie Smith and Connor Potter next up, and no time to say any more because we are away and running, and it's John Wilkie makes a very good start indeed, gets his nose in front as they go down towards turn 1 for the first time. Ollie Smith could be in with a shout here. He's up into P2. Scott Ferguson in third. Callum Enstone goes around the outside, and well, what was it we said about having a little bit of damage on turn 1? It's not as bad as previous rounds, to be absolutely honest, and Ollie Smith has come through in the race lead with John Jones in P2. We're certainly used to seeing John Jones holding well at the front in reverse grid races, and looks like he could do the same again with Andy Carroll in third, Jamie Page fourth, Callum Enstone now fifth from Caden Cook in sixth.
Yeah, a bit more carnage going on as we've got a few more spinners as Andy Dorman goes round, and I think that's Andy Carroll as well. So both Andys, unfortunately. But yeah, back on track. So always the case with reverse grids, it's always a little bit sketchy to begin with. But again, at least everybody's starting to get going again, and so good to see that. But Ollie Smith taking the lead early on with everything that kind of happened in the background. Definitely got the chance of holding on to this position as long as John Jones doesn't make it too challenging for him, because Ollie Smith I think his highest position's been third so far in this championship, so he's definitely got the race pace, so he'll be hanging on up there. And Caden Cook will probably be wanting to rectify the wrongs of last race, so he's up there as we've got a quartet now going into the last corner.
It's a star quartet as well, isn't it? We've got the two brothers and then the two teammates as well involved in the mix. Thomas Potter not that far behind them as well. And it's Jack Smith that's got ahead of Ollie already as Lee Piercy looks down the inside of Rich Hayden. So these guys have got to squabble with each other and try and work their way through. The end of lap one, it's Ollie Smith that holds sway out front. As you said, two third places for him best in this championship thus far. With John Jones in P2, Caden Cook is third from Callum Enstone. I'd be very happy if it stayed that way, actually, to the flag, to be perfectly honest with you. I know the guys in second, third and fourth won't, but some new names on the podium would be absolutely mint. Smith out of shot, John Jones goes through. There is Callum Enstone, who's had a little bit of a dice with Caden Cook. Caden, if nothing else, Becky, was in P2 for 3/4 of that last race. That will, I know he had that moment, but the fact that he did 3/4 of the race in P2 will fill him with confidence.
Yeah, great show in there, and it's only going to add to your confidence, surely being able to keep it going, because it's not always the easiest of just keeping the car on track, even without people battling for position. But it's probably a little bit worrying of how quick, obviously, the top three from last race have made it through the pack. They've not held back at all. They're slowly making their way up, so I'm sure it won't be long before they start causing a bit of an issue for our front four that we don't usually normally see, maybe up towards the higher end. So they'll probably want to rectify and get obviously get a 1-2 as brothers. That will probably be the aim. So Jack's taken the lead, like he said in his interview. He was trying to open up the door a bit. So I wonder if they've decided pre-race, right, this is the best way to go forward. You lead the way, Jack, and I'll just sit behind, and we'll pick everybody off.
Yeah, that's the way it's going to play out, I think, isn't it? Callum Enstone had a moment when we were just looking at the start of that one, so he went wide and out of shot, and he's dropped down into 8th place. So it's still Smith, Jones and Cook that are there at the moment, and Caden Cook is about to be passed. He was momentarily by Jack Smith, and he's being swamped now. He's a meet in the Sarnie, so with the two brothers going either side of him here, he's going to have to try and defend. Rich Hayden's in the mix as well. I haven't seen a great deal of, we've seen a lot of Rich, but we haven't seen him too far up the order, so maybe this is his chance to do more. We have to say Caden Cook here, with a driver either side of him, is probably going to lose the place. It's a question of who to, or is he going to lose both of them? No, he does lose one. Rich Hayden, super stuff from Rich Hayden. Read that gap well, but gets a little bit of body contact with Caden Cook. Loses out, and Thomas Potter now reads the situation well and slices through. But Caden's still there up ahead of Rich Hayden.
Yeah, very, very close there again. Luckily, nothing major going on. But unfortunate there for Caden of losing those places. Just probably not knowing who to battle at that point, because there was everybody coming at once. And I think Thomas actually did very well to sneak on through there as well. I think he was far enough back that he wasn't an initial threat in that. And he's just managed to get past, and he's ahead of Ollie Gibson now as well. So, but it just seems like Jack seems to have disappeared a little bit up the road. So as I think we've had that's still, I didn't know if we had another swap there. And I was going to say it was going to be hard to beat the last race, but with how many moves we've had already and back and forth between little packs going on, it's probably going to give the second race a run for its money.
Yeah, I think he will. Now the question is Thomas Potter going to push or push here? I'm guessing he's going to be push to try and close down on Jack Smith. I would love to see him battling with with Jack, but Jack wants to put a bit of space and some cars between himself and the man closest to him in the championship. This has been good stuff from John Jones as well in the early stages of this one. So John down to P3 now, but again, didn't panic at all with that overtake. He's very composed himself extremely well. Now he's got Thomas Potter all over him. Thomas is going to have a look, backs out of it for the moment, wants to get a good run, partially to defend from Ollie Gibson behind him, but also to try and get another run at John down towards turn 1 and maybe out of it. He's going to go around the outside. John Jones giving him room here, which is absolutely brilliant stuff from John Jones. But Thomas looking for the sweep around the outside, leaves the door open for Ollie Gibson momentarily. Ollie can't quite get up the inside. They have all ride the curb, and it's still John Jones at the moment in third place. But for how long? Because Thomas is trying to work out here, cuts across, rubs the front of John Jones' car as he goes through. Is that going to upset the 639 car? We'll see. Coming through now is Oliver Gibson, who doesn't want to be left by Thomas Potter. So he's going to try and get through as well. And Thomas up into third. So it's Ollie Smith, Jack Smith, and then Thomas Potter P3. And John Jones not being walked over at all here as we go back to Callum Enston with Connor Potter in the Napa Tools car having a good race. They have a hip and shoulder moment as well. Caden Cook is in 11th at the moment, but John Jones doing a good job of defending that fourth place right now.
Yeah, John Jones is never one to let anybody pass easily. He seems to be quite wide when he's defending, which always makes it very interesting when drivers are trying to get round him. So yeah, he's definitely not a pushover. So unfortunately conceded to Ollie Gibson there as well. So maybe realising the fight's not quite with them. As yeah, we've got Connor Potter and Callum Enstone very close together. So they'll keep battling. Did see a couple, maybe last lap. I know Jack's just taken the fastest lap now, but Chris Blakey was setting fastest laps as well. So he's obviously trying to work his way up with another good showing earlier on in the first two races. With again, I think his highest positions to date. So that will be interesting to see how far he can get up the order, especially with the two cars ahead of him battling away.
Yeah, I'll try and nail it down. John's lost a little bit of ground, hasn't he, John Jones? And Rich Hayden very much closer in sixth position. Lee Piercy is in seventh. So here come the two teammates side by side. No team orders here. And Rich Hayden with the red livery. Lee Piercy, in fact, goes up ahead of him. So it's going to be Lee Piercy that will have the first stab at trying to relieve John Jones of fifth position. But having said that, Rich Hayden's coming back. So, yeah, very definitely no team orders between the pair of them. Gap first to second at the moment is 2.89. Ollie Smith to Jack Smith. So again, it's a job to know whether to look at this kind of mid top 10 battle or the lead battle as it might develop. Thomas Potter in third, trying to close down on Jack Smith, but has already lost 3.4 seconds. The only good news here for John Jones is that these two teammates, they're battling hard, and John's actually starting to stretch the gap. If they work together, they could maybe get past him and then resume the squabble, but they've clearly not sent each other a message to that effect. As Lee Piercy has a dive down the inside of Rich Hayden again, can't quite do it. So Rich having to defend a little bit. And this is just showing the class of John Jones for me in this one. Again, another driver like Caden Cook with the performance that we're seeing here. Halfway through the race, John Jones still in fifth position. That and Caden Cook's driving race number one. Possibly drivers of the round. Yeah,
no, definitely. There's been a good mix going on. Some, like I say, the best performances so far of the championship. So everybody coming on leaps and bounds, like we obviously mentioned earlier on. So there are probably a few to play for, depending on how obviously the rest of the race plays out. And you don't want to jinx it too soon and start naming everybody, because it has to be. I think we've done it before, and then unfortunately somebody's dropped back, and it's like, oh. Maybe swung the other way then, but now it looks like Rich has managed to get a bit of a gap from his teammate to then be able to battle with John Jones. But I think Jack Smith, when he overtook John Jones, who was in second at that point, there was about a 5-second gap between him and Ollie Smith. So he's again just slowly closing down that gap with setting fast after fastest lap. So it won't be long before Jack Smith is probably on Ollie Smith's bumper, and we'll have the two Smiths battling it out for the lead as John goes very wide and a bit manages to catch it. Very great driving there from John. That was well caught, but the two teammates are now past him. and maybe he'll have to just kind of settle back down and go again in a little while whilst it's when it's all settled.
It wasn't it as soon as we mentioned him for driver of the round, he has a moment, but yeah, and we'll backpedal on that very, very definitely. But definitely a contender, and Lee Pearcey giving us some entertainment here, trying to close in on Rich Hayden. So these two have squabbled all the way through this one so far. So they've had half the race where they've been battling hard. John Jones still looking pretty strong at the moment. From Andy Dorman, who again has been really consistent this round, but just hasn't had that podium form, Andy Dorman. Let me see who's behind him, Callum Enstone, Connor Potter in 10th place. And nice to see Connor up into the top 10 as well. John Wilkie is 11th, and John, again, potentially on for a best result here. He is actually showing in 10th place now. His best result is 12th in the championship. So John Wilkie again showing some great progress, chasing Callum Enstone down. As Jack Smith finally gets the lead done, so well picked up by Steve, and Ollie Smith relegated with Jack Smith out front. So Jack Smith has worked away, managed to close in, and as soon as he gets into the lead, he's back and smooth. Maybe a little bit too tight for the apex there, but putting a bit of ground between himself and Ollie Smith in P2. So Ollie having, as Becky said, I think in the earlier race, has had 2 third places. So again, you know, the determination of getting on the server and getting out there and maybe getting a best result could put him up for the driver of the round award as well. We've got quite a lot of options as ever again this evening. So it's Jack Smith, Ollie Smith, Thomas Potter in P3, and then we've got the 2 teammates battling ahead of John Jones, still running strongly in 7th place. Andy Dorman in 8th, trying to close in on John right now.
Yeah, it's hard to know where to look with all the battles going on, and then knowing who to pick for driver of the round. It's great when we have races like this because it's enthralling. There's so much going on, and poor Stephen to flick back from one battle to the other to make sure he catches all the action going on. Because again, we've still got 2 teammates together of Rich and Lee battling away, and then closely behind them there's John and Andy, who again, if the 2 teammates keep battling, they'll come in, and then we'll have another quartet fighting. So yeah, it's great to see all this, as Jack just doesn't seem to let off at any point. So he's again already getting a nice distance. Thomas, like, he's slowly closing in on Ollie as well. So hopefully Ollie will be able to keep focused, not be too bothered about what's coming up behind him, and just manage to hold position and get a higher step on the podium.
Lee Pearcey still trying to have a go here at Rich Hayden, and Rich defending superbly, and equally Lee is attacking well, giving each other room at the moment. John Jones still there from Andy Dorman, so we're just flicking back to the 7th and 8th position battle. We've got 6 minutes on the clock remaining. It's just been good stuff from John Jones, and now Andy Dorman clatters over the curbs, manages to get the car in position, but the curbing just takes a little bit of momentum out of the car. He's going to have to try again, similar sort of thing, but maybe a little bit more tarmac and a little bit less curb. But he's all over the back of John, runs wide there again, trying to gain that extra momentum to have a go and relegate John. Even if John finishes in 8th place, it's still going to be his best finish. Callum Enstone's come back up and is in 9th place ahead of John Wilkie in 10th. And so we have got a lot of options for driver of the round here in this one. Jack Smith now 2 seconds clear of Ollie Smith. Ollie Smith's done a good job as well here, as we said, battling to get onto the server earlier on, and potentially looking at his best VRRC result, which could be good. Thomas Potter is there in 3rd. Thomas wants to relegate Ollie Smith, though, down into 3rd position. So is Thomas going to be a spoiler for the Ollie Smith party?
Yeah, after the first race and not knowing if Thomas was going to have a bit of an unlucky round this Tuesday, he really brought it back. So from last race and obviously winning, and it looks like he's obviously trying to do the same thing, try to get past Ollie, and maybe again he's only got 5 minutes to do it in, and so it'd be a big ask. But he's obviously trying to chase down Jack Smith, who was obviously our championship leader at the time. So he's wanting to claw back as many points as he can, so that deficit isn't quite as high.
I haven't checked up on the points on the Junior Saloon Car Championship. I think they've had a round since I last looked, but Ollie was top rookie in that. So, you know, probably our youngest driver in the championship. It wasn't that long ago we were saying Thomas Potter was the Yeah, actually, Thomas is still going to be younger, isn't he? Because he's only just of age to race in juniors. But Ollie Smith, not that much older than him. And Thomas makes a dive round the outside. I say a dive. It was actually well calculated, wasn't it, by Thomas Potter? Saw that he had the speed to do that. Very neat move, that, Becky. And good stuff from Ollie Smith as well, seeing him there.
Yeah, nice and clean, but it doesn't look like Ollie's giving it up that easy, as he's looking to maybe try to get a move on the first corner, but yeah, ran wide and obviously ran on the grass, which caused him to lose a bit of grip and traction. So he's gone off, and so Ollie Gibson has made the most out of that incident there. So unfortunate for Ollie, because he was showing well up there, and yeah, unfortunate mistake there.
It was, but you know what? The recovery, and I always say, by all means have mistakes on track, it's how you recover. And he really held that well through the gravel trap. That was super stuff from Ollie Smith to get it through the gravel trap. And he has lost a place, but he's still in P4. So really decent points. Andy Dorman, as you can see, has managed to get the better of the battle with John Jones. So it's Jack Smith, Thomas Potter, Oliver Gibson, Ollie Smith, Rich Hayden. We have lost, I was going to say, who have we lost to put John Jones back up into 7th place? Lee Pearcey, isn't it? Who's dropped back into 9th place, with Chris Blakey having made progress from his earlier issues up into the top 10. John Wilkie next up from Caden Cook, Connor Potter and Catherine Potter. So how long have we got? 3 minutes and 2 remaining on this one. I'm guessing things may well be a little bit settled. And Ollie Smith, you can blame Steve for pointing you out as a good candidate for driver of the round on that one. I'm only joking, Steve. I think we all thought that he was in with the shout for driver of the round. And maybe for that recovery, still in P4, but it's not going to be his best result. John Jones is on for his best at the moment with that P7. Caden Cook had a P7 in race 2. After, was it a P11 in race 2, after holding second for a very, very long time, as we watch Oliver Gibson trying to close down on Thomas Potter. Thomas's best lap, a 1:23.9. Ollie Gibson's best, a 1:24.018. Cat Potter and Lee Pearcey have had a little bit of a moment by the look of it on the timing screen, which is a pity, as Ollie Gibson tries to close down. He's got Thomas in his sights here, but he's only got 2 minutes to close down and then think about making the move.
Yeah, it seems like quite a big gap when it's coming up on the timing screen saying like 1.1, 1.4, 1.5 seconds, and but he can see them, and that makes a difference when you can see them ahead and you're like, well, they're not too far. All I have to do is just keep pushing, keep with them. And like we've seen before, unfortunately, sometimes it's literally the last corner of the last lap and something happens. So again, not wanting to jinx anybody, but it's not over until we cross that line. So you've got to keep fighting right to the last second.
1 minute 25 to go before we get that last second. And we just flick back here. Chris Blakey chasing Lee Pearcey at the moment. And Cat Potter up ahead of them. So Lee Pearcey not being able to pop the lap on Cat Potter particularly easily, and Cat now probably sees this as a little bit of a race for her to enjoy, and she's got the line as they go down the hill into the left-hander at turn 10. For Lee Pearcey's point of view, he doesn't want Chris Blakey to be able to pass him, so he's going to have to try and manage that one. I'm wondering, is Jack Smith going to be, how far ahead is Jack Smith? 5 seconds. Now, are we going to get another lap after this one? We'll have to see. So Jack Smith out front, and Cat goes over the grass, so that should be game over for, well, Lee Pearcey's lost out, and Cat still slipping and sliding back on the, rejoining the track, I think, but down behind those ones as Ollie Gibson continues to close up on Thomas Potter. This is the battle as it is for P2. We go back to the race leader. Jack Smith goes down the hill. We've got 21 seconds on the clock. Again, it's going to be like race 1. He's going to cross the line with a handful of seconds remaining, so we are going to squeeze another lap out. Jack will be very happy about that. And
I think so will Ollie as well, because he's not far behind Thomas now. So another lap means he's going to have more opportunities to have a move on Thomas as well.
So last lap for Ollie Gibson to try and close down on Thomas Potter. The gap has come down. Thomas is not one to drive on his mirrors, to be perfectly honest, but Ollie Gibson chasing him hard. Jack Smith on for his second win of the evening. He'll be the first driver to have 3 double wins in our championship as we head into Silverstone next week. And I think Thomas may be looking a little bit safer now than he has over the last couple of laps. It will be a repeat of the 3 drivers on the podium as things stand at the moment. But Jack Smith has done an amazing job to come through right the way from the back in this one. Again, picked his moments, but good smooth driving as Ollie's still chasing hard.
Yeah, he knows. Again, you've got to, like I say, keep going. He's hoping he can maybe get him on the last couple of corners. It will be a tall ask because Thomas has drove really well this round. So I'm sure Thomas won't make it easy for him at all. And yeah, with the end in sight, he'll be just trying to keep it nice and clean. No mistakes, no sort of riding curbs too much and losing the car. To try to collect it, which we've seen quite a lot of drivers do this round, of losing it and managing to collect it nice and neatly, which is great to see instead of ending up in a barrier somewhere. As yeah, Jack takes the win, and we've got the second and third place drivers of Thomas and Ollie coming over the line.
And Ollie Smith here in 4th place comes down the hill for the last time. Could have been a podium, but I'll tell you what, it was good recovery. Dealt well to go through that gravel trap. Collected the car up very, very nicely indeed. It's going to be Rich Hayden in 5th here across the line. We look for Andy Dorman, who is next up, and Steve, our director, flicks back to the 6th position car, who runs a little bit ragged and across the grass, but there's no danger. Good points for Andy Dorman again. It's going to be interesting to see the championship position. So 5th for him, and it's going to be John Jones in P6 from Callum Enstone. And a very good result for John Jones there, P6. Callum Enstone 7th from Chris Blakey. Caden Cook in 9th. Lee Piercy is in 10th position. Here comes Lee in 11th place. Catherine Potter, I'm sure Catherine was further back earlier on, and I think I might have got that wrong about being lapped, but Catherine, Connor Potter and John Wilkie completing our runners in our final race of the evening. So runners complete, and we'll take a quick break and be back with our podium interviews in just a moment. So welcome back after our little break and our podium interviews. A little bit of deja vu here because we're getting to chat to similar drivers, but yeah, I'll tell you what, it's indicative of a consistent and fast evening's work from these three. And we'll start once again with Oliver Gibson. Well done, Ollie, 3rd position. You were bemoaning your racecraft earlier on, but I'll tell you what, you definitely needed it and used it very well in that one to get up onto the podium from virtually near the back.
Yeah, I was quite lucky, actually, is how I describe that race. Lap 1, I just avoided a few incidents, and then I think Ollie went off on turn 1 on the last few laps, and then managed to get up to 3rd. But yeah, definitely a weird race, a hard one as well. But yeah, the racecraft improved, I think, a little bit there. But yeah. Very lucky, but I think they say you make your own luck, which I don't believe, but because I didn't cause any incidents. So, but yeah, that was a good race, and I'm happy with 3 podiums. So I think that's the first time this series. So yeah, it's a good confidence builder into the last 2 rounds.
That's good. And so you're going to love Silverstone next week. That's my prediction. Oh, you
Yeah.
probably don't want my predictions, do you? What was in the message from Jack? Are you allowed to share the trade secret? What did he say?
The message.
Jack said he sent you a message
yes.
after race 2.
Yeah, it was just about racecraft, really. Yeah, it was just about the long straight and stuff, just how to get a better run and whatnot. So just little stuff like that. But no, he is very helpful, is Jack, and teaches me many things. So
It's a good advert for his tutorials, and he does do coaching, doesn't he? So
he does get in touch. He's got the website as well. So
I keep meaning to. I'm trying to get the boy to do. I can hear my son actually practicing on the Legends car next door. So he'll be. He definitely needs to get some coaching. He wants to get as far as he can himself. But and Ollie, really good to see you closing in on Thomas. Obviously not from Thomas's point of view, but we thought that you were going to be able to make a move on the last lap. Not quite there, but you definitely closed in on Thomas in the second half of the race.
yeah, I thought we had really similar pace. It's just sort of one lap he'd be faster, one lap I'd be faster. So it was one of those annoying ones. But yeah, to be honest, both races, the second one and the third one, I thought that the race, I nearly slowed down a lap before the race ended. So I thought I came around the last corner flashing my lights, and I thought it was over. So, but I didn't lose any time because of it. So, but yeah, I was catching and just obviously not quite close enough. But yeah, he drove a great race as he usually does. So I can't really complain. And no, a third place is happy. I'm happy with that. Just means I'll be higher up the grid next week for my favourite track in the whole wide world.
Well, good luck with that. I won't be watching live. Actually, I could watch live because I'll be travelling back, I think, then. So that'll make my journey from Manchester a little bit more interesting. So yeah, all being well, if we've got some internet, I'll watch it. But I wish you well with that. Good luck, mate. And I'll see you for the final round at Road America, I think the last one is. So good luck next week. And well done on the 3 podiums.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Ollie Gibson, P3, P2, and I think we get a little bit longer to talk to Thomas now. So. Because we've not got another race to go into. But Thomas, well done, P2. Jack was away and down the road. You must be fairly early doors.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was, well, another case of me having a terrible launch off the line. Both him and Ollie got past then. They decided to go for the inside, which turned out to be the correct line on the start. I still got through with no incidents, just a slow way through, which bit unfortunate. But after that, I was like, yeah, let's just take it clean. Get past one car at a time, and when it came to Ollie, I think he had a slight mistake after T1 when I decided let's go around the outside in the T2 because it would end up being the inside of the T3 and end up working. But after that, I think it was just pretty smooth sailing where we were all, I think me, Jack and Ollie were equal for quite a few laps, and all of a sudden I made one mistake which kind of messed up my tyres, and that's when Jack started to pull and then Ollie started again a bit. But after that, I think it was me and Ollie just trading laps.
That's good. Do you like Silverstone?
Not in these cars. We'll go with that one. I like it in every other car, but done some testing like before the whole entire thing started, just because I'm normally good at Silverstone. Let's give it a go. And for some reason, I just can't get it to gel with this car.
I think British GT do Silverstone GP, so that means you're probably going to be with the Genettas there as well. So some real world practice coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't wait to actually do it in a Genetta. When I first found out we were doing it, I asked Scott, and I was like, Genetta Junior is doing the GP, they're not going to take forever. And he said, yep, but it does some amazing racing. So I was like, all right, I'm down for it then.
Yeah, the Scott you're talking about, Scott McKenna, isn't it, from McKenna Driver Developments?
Yeah.
It was good to see him at the weekend. Very impressive lineup, actually. In the past, we've only had sort of like 6 cars at the scholarship, but I think we had 10 cars from different teams as well, which gave everyone a little bit of a chance to sample different setups and things like that, which was good. Only got 2 rounds left on this, so this has gone very quickly, this series, and I'm guessing you're probably still P2 in the standings. I'll look at that in a moment, but you must be reasonably happy with the way it's going. Yeah, you are still P2.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I think Jack's too far down the road now to catch up, even if he didn't score any points in the next 2 rounds, and I win every single thing. And actually, I don't know. Maybe I could do it then, but I doubt that's really gonna happen with how fast Jack is. So I think gonna just try hold my best, hold it at P2, maybe gain some points on Jack. But overall, just keeping it in P2.
Excellent stuff. So, well, good luck with Silverstone next week, and well done on another podium here. And Thomas, I'll catch up with you in a couple of weeks.
Would I be able to quickly do my shout outs?
I'd be very rude if I said no, wouldn't I?
Yeah. Well,
Go for it, mate.
To everyone obviously on the car, KTM U5, 22 or Moser, Falcon, the main ones, as well as Macharis, Ben and the Ollie Foundation. But, well, just huge thanks to all of them, and huge thanks to, well, you, Richard, for helping me prepare for the Genetic Junior Scholarship with telling me a little bit of facts about media and what to actually do for it. But as well as that, Lewis Turkington, who won the Fiesta Junior Scholarship and did the Genetic one last year, he's been helping me out. I mean, came into it not knowing anything about the track. I asked him for some advice, and by the time of tomorrow, I had Brighton Park, a Genetic Junior, and a guide on the line.
Excellent. Yeah, Lewis is a good lad, isn't he? Nice family, very nice family. Yeah.
But thank you to all of them, and thanks for you guys hosting this amazing event once again.
You're very welcome. Thanks, mate. Thanks for that. And yeah, I'll pop. We note that, Rich and Steve and Becky. Appreciate your words. So thanks, Thomas. Well done. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And everybody online will see you next week on Silverstone. So on to our overall, which is Jack Smith. So Jack, 2 wins and a P2. You're going to be top of the points. You're actually 100 points clear of third place at the moment. So not a bad way to go into the last 2 events.
No, that's what I was trying to just do any sort of damage limitation. I thought after Bahrain I was going to have a stinker for the rest of the season, but Summit's obviously clicked at Sebring, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I think definitely got very lucky with some of the incidents that have happened. I've seen like a few people get taken out, but equally I've been taking the first lap a lot more cautious than what I used to. I think in Bahrain I was just a bit eager to get going straight away, and this time I'm braking like way earlier than what I would normally, and just being a bit more cautious, being a bit more mature about it, and it's paying off. So super happy. It's just unlucky for Tom at the start when I don't know, I just keep getting these launches perfect every time. But yeah, I was really looking forward to battling him, but I just have to keep going. I just have to keep pushing. So I'm sure we've still got 2 more rounds to go. We've got Silverstone and is it Road America? Yeah, so
yeah, it is. Yeah.
They're 2, I think, really good racing circuits. So we'll hopefully see a bit more racing action there for sure. And I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, just gonna keep on pushing like I have done, and nice for you to be shouting out my driver coach. It was nice to hear. So
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I've got to try and persuade the boy. He's finally getting some laps on the Legends car, but he wants to get where he can get to, and then I think he will. We'll sort something out anyway with that. But thoughts on Silverstone looking ahead for next week? Yeah,
I mean, I've not driven the combo of this car and this track yet, but yeah, right. I really like Silverstone. It's got a nice flow to it. Similar to this, it's got that kind of flow that you just, once you're in, you're locked into. So yeah, and obviously it's super wide circuit, so I'm sure there's going to be some mega racing as well. But yeah, no, super looking forward to it, and I'm sure it'll be quality to watch back after all the racing's done and dusted. So just like this one, I'm gonna be watching this one back for sure. So always do.
That's good. Rich Hayden's already practicing for next week, so I'll let you catch up with him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, big shout out to you guys though. You guys always do a really good job on the stream and stuff. So yeah, always a pleasure to watch the stream back, and you always do a great job. So thanks to everyone watching the stream.
Checks in the post, or money's on its way in PayPal, or whatever we do.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate.
Thanks for that. Well done, Jack. Congratulations. That only leaves us with one more interview to do, which is our drive of the round, which we're giving it to John Jones. John, well done. Super job, and best result of the season. But that was going through a really good drive, I thought, in that. Talk us about your experience.
It's going to be me answering this. I think John was eager to get off for dinner or something. He's left.
Oh, right.
Or maybe didn't quite know why he was put in. But yeah, congratulations to John Jones. I'm sure we might be able to speak to him next round, or you will.
Yeah, we'll try and do that. Are you with us next week, Becky, or I don't know who's? Oh, it's
no, I'm not. I'm American. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Sant next time, isn't it? So Jack and Jack, 2 Jacks. Yeah, so John, well done, John. Super job. Really difficult driver of the round, this one. But yeah, best result of the campaign with 7th in that one. Really stunning drive to hold podium position. We do see him do that in the early stages, but again, you know, holding on to that front position longer and longer as the races go on. And I was just looking at other sort of championships. He had I think 3 8th positions in the touring car head-to-head as well, which you did with Scott, and so you know he sort of improved on that as well. So I know John's probably had better results with VRRC over the various championships that he's taken part in, but very well deserved. Yeah, hopefully we'll get a chance to have an interview with him. So Becky accepting that on his behalf, which is I think you'll be watching next week as well. I'll be on the train coming back from me F4 launch in Manchester, so it's going to be a long day, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it pans out. And we go from a circuit which has the very imaginative turn names of turns 1, 2 and 3 to a circuit which, as you can see from the labels here, has many evocative names which those of us of a certain age will have memories of Grand Prix drivers negotiating those parts of circuits over many years. And I think it can go back to the days of for me, Nicky Lauda, James Hunt, and all that, right the way up to date. You know, and you talk to any Formula One fan, and they know the names of these places, and that's where we're racing. So one to look forward to. Becky, thanks. Your mum enjoys the rest of her birthday. Thanks so much. Always a pleasure working with you. Really appreciate it, and a great job as ever.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure on my end as well. So yeah, happy birthday again, Mum. Sorry I'm not with you. But you know, priorities. So it'd be good to come back for the final round of some great racing to come ahead, and obviously looking forward even more to the Scottish Legends as well that we've got coming up. But a bit gutted to be missing Silverstone because it's a great track as well. So I'll be eagerly watching.
You never know, you might get a call if Jack can't do it, one of the Jacks, but we'll see. Thanks to Steve Allen for great direction as ever and technical support. Thank you, Steve. Well done, mate. So from all of us at VRRC, thank you very much for joining us, and please join Jack Oliphant and Jack Sant next week for the penultimate round of the series, and we'll be back on Tuesday evening. I'll be back in a fortnight, but make sure you tune in next time. As ever, thanks again. Be nice to each other, and bye for now.
Between the two of them,
The insider coats.
Parker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.